No flashy dramatic intro today. This is big, and it has a huge chunk of the fan base incredibly worried about what this could mean for Liverpool for the rest of the season. Concern is beginning to build among supporters after another untimely setback involving Alisson Becker, with Liverpool's number one ruled out of the trip to Brighton and Hove Albion, in what is being described as a precautionary but nonetheless worrying development. The Brazilian has now joined Mohamed Salah on the sidelines, leaving Liverpool without two of their most influential figures at a crucial stage of the campaign. While the club have been careful not to escalate fears publicly, the decision not to risk their first-choice goalkeeper hints at a problem that may be more significant than initially anticipated. According to reports, Liverpool are unwilling to take any chances with Alisson's condition, a stance that underlines just how important he is to the structure and stability of the side. The timing is particularly concerning given that he had only recently featured, suggesting this could be a fresh issue rather than part of his previously managed workload. Further compounding the situation is his withdrawal from the Brazil national football team squad. Alisson had originally been selected for upcoming friendlies against France national football team and Croatia national football team, but has now been forced to step aside due to injury. The Brazilian Football Confederation confirmed that Hugo Souza has been called up as his replacement, officially ruling him out of international duty and raising further doubts over his short-term availability. In his absence, responsibility will fall to Georgi Mamadashvili, who is expected to step in against Brighton. The Georgian has already proven to be a reliable deputy this season and is set to make his 13th appearance, but there is no denying the drop-off in experience and presence that comes with losing a goalkeeper of Alisson's caliber. What makes the situation even more unsettling for fans is the recurring nature of his fitness issues. Alisson has already missed 9 matches this season, with a persistent hamstring problem occasionally affecting even the fundamentals of his game, including his distribution. For a player whose consistency has long been one of his defining traits, these repeated setbacks are beginning to form a troubling pattern. There is, however, a longer-term layer to this story. The club recently secured Alisson's future by extending his contract until 2027, a move that reflects their faith in his importance to the team. Yet that commitment also increases the stakes when it comes to managing his fitness, particularly as Liverpool continue to compete across multiple fronts. In other news, having once again found the net as Liverpool swept aside Galatasaray with a commanding 4-0 victory in the UEFA Champions League, Dominik Szoboszlai offered a revealing insight into the mindset that powered the Reds' emphatic response. The Hungarian midfielder admitted that the scenes following the first leg defeat in Istanbul had not gone unnoticed and, in truth, had fueled Liverpool's ruthless performance at Anfield. Rewind just a week, and the mood surrounding Liverpool could hardly have been more contrasting. A 1-0 defeat at Rams Park, their second loss at the venue this season, had left supporters frustrated and wary of what lay ahead. Galatasaray's jubilant celebrations at full time only heightened that sense of unease, giving the impression of a side already envisioning progression. For Szoboszlai and his teammates, however, those moments would come to serve a very different purpose. Reflecting post-match, the 25-year-old explained how those celebrations lingered in his thoughts. Hearing the noise and witnessing the reaction in Istanbul struck a chord, even if he acknowledged that such displays may be part of the culture in Turkey. Still, it was enough to ignite something within the Liverpool dressing room. For Szoboszlai, and indeed several others, it became personal, not in an overtly hostile sense, but in the way elite athletes often channel perceived slights into performance fuel. That edge was evident from the very first whistle at Anfield. Liverpool played with a ferocity and urgency that had been lacking in recent weeks, pressing aggressively, moving the ball with purpose, and attacking with relentless intent. It was not merely a victory, it was a statement. The numbers only reinforced the dominance. 8 big chances created, 32 shots registered, and a constant barrage that left Galatasaray unable to settle. The visitors, so confident days earlier, were instead overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of Liverpool's response. Szoboszlai himself epitomized that shift in mentality. His goal capped off a display full of energy, intelligence, and drive. Qualities he later admitted had not been consistently present in Liverpool's recent run of form. There was an honesty in his assessment, acknowledging that the team had dipped below the standards required at this level. For him, the challenge is not producing such performances under the bright lights of European football, but replicating that same intensity across every fixture. He pointed to the stark contrast between iconic Champions League nights at Anfield and the reality of early domestic kickoffs, highlighting the mental adjustment required. It is a familiar challenge for top sides, maintaining peak levels regardless of occasion, but one Liverpool know they must master if they are to sustain success. With fixtures coming thick and fast, squad depth and collective focus will be crucial. Progression to the quarter-finals marks a significant milestone for this evolving Liverpool side. It is their first appearance at that stage of the competition since 2022, when they reached the final, and for many within the current squad, including Szoboszlai, it represents uncharted territory. Yet while the occasion is new, the challenge that awaits is anything but. Next up stands Paris Saint-Germain, a familiar and formidable opponent who ended Liverpool's European journey on penalties just a year ago. Szoboszlai was quick to acknowledge their quality, having followed their recent performances closely, including fixtures against Chelsea. In his view, PSG remain every bit as dangerous as before, a side capable of punishing any lapse. However, Liverpool's performance against Galatasaray served as a powerful reminder of their own capabilities. On their day, with intensity high and focus sharp, they possess the tools to compete with anyone in Europe. Szoboszlai's words reflected a quiet confidence, not arrogance, but belief grounded in what was demonstrated on the pitch. Before attention fully shifts to that heavyweight quarter-final clash, Liverpool must first carry this momentum into their domestic commitments. Consistency, as Szoboszlai emphasized, will define their season. Yet, if this display was anything to go by, the Reds have rediscovered not only their rhythm, but their edge, and perhaps, just perhaps, the spark that could drive another deep European run. Ultimately, what began as frustration in Istanbul was transformed into a statement of intent at Anfield. For Dominik Szoboszlai and his teammates, perceived disrespect became motivation, and motivation became a performance that underlined their European credentials. Now, as Liverpool prepare for an even sterner test against Paris Saint-Germain, the challenge is clear: harness that same intensity, that same edge, and apply it consistently. If they can, then this victory over Galatasaray may not just be remembered as a response, but as the moment their campaign truly came to life. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. We post all the latest Liverpool news every day, so join our fast-growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.